Okay, so we're going to address the rotator cuff area. And a lot of times when we're working out, especially when we're doing chest exercises, you notice that many people who are very toned or in shape, sometimes their shoulders tend to round and they have poor posture and it looks like this. And when they look like this, the head of the humerus is out of the shoulder girdle. And everything that they do is obviously counterproductive to that area and can eventually end up in injury. You know, rotator cuff injuries, impingements in the shoulders, labrum tears in the shoulder, so what have you. And this is a result because of this here, poor posture. So one way we can address the rotator cuff is by doing this next exercise that I'm going to demonstrate, where you take a TheraBand or a rubber resistance band and you tie it so that it's about shoulder height, okay? And you'll wrap the other end around your hand, and what you want to do is get the elbow and the shoulder to be in alignment, okay, 90-degree angle. And you want to obviously pinch your shoulder blades here so that your head of your humerus is in the girdle while you're doing the exercise. So from here, all I'm going to do is I'm going to rotate my hand all the way up and then back down. So I'm just lifting up here and back down. And I'm addressing all the rear shoulder muscles here in the rotator cuff area. And again, we want to do about 15 to 20 reps on each side. Okay, and that's just one exercise that I love to do. And I'll show you the next one after. Okay, the next recovery exercise we're going to address is your rotator cuff muscles. Now, the smaller muscles that don't get worked out most often are your infraspinatus and your teres minor. So what we're going to do is we're going to address those muscles in particular. So I'm going to take a TheraBand and I'm going to tie it to something low so I can have the angle, the proper angle. And I'm going to wrap the TheraBand around my hand as many times as I want. Obviously, the more times, the more resistance I'll get. And I want you to think of like pulling a sword out of its sheath. So I'm going to pull the sword out of its sheath and I'm going to rotate my hand up. At this part here, I'm going to rotate my elbow outward this way. And you can also think of like pitching a baseball. When the pitcher comes back and that elbow looks like this when he's about to release the ball. So just to give you an analogy. So we're going to take the sword out of the sheath and then we're going to rotate our elbow so that it pokes out just a little bit and then back into the sheath. And you want to do about 15 to 20 reps each side. And that's one exercise you can do to strengthen the smaller rotator cuff muscles. Okay, the next exercise I'm going to show you is an overhead squat. And overhead squats are great to correct your posture and to get a nice stretch for your chest and contract the upper back as well as the lower back. So you can do this without any prop overhead. You can just do this with your hands. First thing you want to do, and I'm going to give you a profile view, is set yourself up in a proper squat position. And majority of my weight is in my heels, and my knees are aligned with my toes, so I'm not over my toes. So again, I'm sitting back. So I'm going to stand up, place my hands above me, reaching, locking out my elbows, and then sit back into a proper squat. When you first do this, especially if you're tight, you're going to feel like your arms want to come forward. So to keep that proper alignment, you're going to feel that your upper back really contracts, and you can feel that. You can even feel your lower back doing the same. And you can hold that for 30 seconds, and then come out, relax, and do that again 2 more times, 3 sets for 30 seconds. As you get better, you can increase the time. So you can do for a minute or 45 seconds. I also really like to use a body bar. And what we'll do is we'll hold the edges of it by the colors at the end and get a nice wide range of motion overhead. And again, go into a squat, holding that position. When your arms are wide open this way, it makes it easier to hold the squat. So if you're really tight and you want to start off with something more modified, this would be a great exercise here. And as you get better, you can narrow your grip on the body bar. So now I can come in a little bit more and hold that. And again, for 30 seconds, I'll give you the profile. Try to keep your head up. Do not allow your neck to drop. Okay, keep your head up. And after 30 seconds, you'll stand up, relax, and then go in for your next set. Okay? And you can do that again, 3 sets of 30 seconds. The next corrective exercise I'm going to address uses the physio ball. And this is another corrective exercise for your chest. So I'm going to start, and I'll just sit on the ball, and I'll begin to lay down like if I was going to do a sit-up, and roll all the way to the upper back. And I'm going to place my hands behind my head here. And I'm going to push my elbows down towards the floor. And I can feel that stretch right in my chest as I do that. And again, my rear shoulders, I feel them contracting. So I'm here, just pressing, opening up. Almost like a butterfly, if you think of that. So here is relaxed, and then I open up my chest. Just hold my position here. And I can create different angles by rolling on different parts of the ball. So if I move back more, and get a nicer stretch, and hold that for 30 seconds. I can also open up my hands, palms up. And again, I want to open up my chest. And then I'll relax my head back. And again, I can create different angles. Let's say I want to reach further back behind me. I can do that as well. Relaxing my head. And I almost want to press my back of my hands towards the floor. And again, my favorite is to come into a backward cheer. So I'll keep rolling back, place my hands, and roll back nice and easy. There's a nice stretch for the lower back as well. And those are some nice, different angle stretches for your chest. And again, I can start here, my hands behind my head. Again, like a butterfly, opening up my elbows, opening up my chest. That's one angle, and I can then walk back further and hold that angle. I can then relax my head back, place my hands open to the side, pressing the back of my palms towards the floor, opening up my chest. And then come forward all the way behind me. Same thing. And then roll into the backwards. And doing these different angles, I'm holding them for about 30 seconds each. And again, opening up my chest and correcting my posture. And this is using the physio ball. Okay, I've showed you the myofascial release section of this video. And myofascial release is very important, but much more so for people who are training very hard at the gym, a minimum 3 times a week or more. If you're doing especially like a spin class, or you run on a treadmill, or maybe you work out like me with kettlebells, or you do sport training, the harder you train, the more you need recovery and corrective exercises. Okay, remember, you're making your muscles tighter and you're causing adhesions to the tissue. And so you want to break that up. So doing your IT band rollout, your hip flexion, your quad, and even your inner thigh is very important to keep your muscles pliable, more elastic. That way they can stretch and contract properly and cause less injury to you. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed that section as well. All the corrective exercises that I addressed today, I like to do them on my off days that I call recovery days. So again, if I'm working 7 days a week out at the gym, and one of those days I feel a little bit too sore, or I'm not so motivated to hit the gym, then I will address these corrective issues. And to be honest, I would do this at least 2 to 3 times a week. Find the time to do it. Do it after your workout. Let's say you did a chest and back. You stretch your legs out. Maybe you do hamstring stretches or IT band stretches, and those are great stretches too, and majority of us know those stretches. But the upper body we tend to forget or we don't address. So I addressed a lot of the upper body corrective exercises today, like the rotator cuff exercises, or using the physio ball and opening up the chest, or against the wall, or even the overhead squat with the body bar. These upper body stretches will start to correct your posture more and more, and this will limit the injury factors in your shoulders and in your chest. Okay, you'll start to become more flexible. And just like a lot of people, again, Don't forget to stretch the lower body. You see a lot of people at the gym after their workout, they do hamstring stretches, stuff like that. Maybe they elevate their leg onto something and stretch, or do their IT band stretches. Can't forget the upper body. Okay, so I hope you enjoy all these exercises. If you have any questions, feel free to post a question up on my website or email me at joe@thearchitect.com. Thank you.